We got some updates on the Teoscar Hernandez front and a potential reunion between him and the Toronto Blue Jays. And it's not as far-fetched as some may think. So we'll break that down on this episode of Jays Digest, as well as just go around the free agency landscape, the trade market as well. No shortage of rumors this time of year, so we'll have that and much more coming up next. Welcome in, everybody, to Jays Digest. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside host Nick Gosse. And again, the winter meetings starting to conclude here. The Blue Jays are in on every top free agent, but they have yet to land one as of yet. Corbin Burnes, we're still waiting on that front. We're still waiting for a decision to be made. We thought it was going to be a couple of days ago. Turned out to not be the case. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but before we break it all down, I want to let you know that a large percentage of you who are watching these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So go ahead and hit that sub button because Nick and I are super close to our goal of 15,000 subscribers. And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to hit it before Christmas time. And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for the Blue Jays to sign some of these guys that we're going to talk about today. Nick, very exciting news coming out. Tidbits each and every day about the Blue Jays being involved. And you could hang banners in the Rogers Center for how many guys they've been involved in these past couple of off seasons, and ultimately that does not get it done. A lot of work needs to be done on this roster for them to be competitive because the teams in the AL East, they're starting to pivot to their other plans and they're starting to look good as well. So backs are against the wall for the Jays front office here. What's their move going to be?
Yeah, you're going to see a report here that makes some Jays fans laugh, cringe, whatever you're about to see here. There's some interesting things. But yeah, Corbin Burnes still up in the air. I suspect he's going to sign today. So if he does, we'll of course have a video stream about that. And it first dropped. I covered it in my video yesterday. Basically, Ben Nicholson-Smith, Shada coming out and say they continue to talk to prominent free agents, Teoscar Hernandez, Jock Peterson being more realistic targets. And then Peter, a bunch of new reports started dropping. So this is all from the Dodgers side of things, less from Jays reporters. So take it, interpret that how you will. This Teoscar Hernandez saga really is fascinating with how complicated it has become. I can't see the AAV being an issue. It's got to be the years. Love Teo. The Dodgers are smart with contracts like this. So of course, this is just Blake Harris's response to this report here. So Hernandez wants to re-sign with the Dodgers as he has for the last few months, but the two sides remain apart on the AAV and the signing bonus per source. Moreover, Hernandez does not want any deferrals in his contract, and while the Dodgers remain Hernandez's preference, the new number 2 team in the race is the Toronto Blue Jays, as Hernandez is currently working in Florida, like we saw on Instagram. I believe it was Vladdy's Instagram or Teoscar's, either way, working in Florida with Vladdy, and he would welcome a return to Toronto. And while the Dodgers maintain their status as the favorite, Hernandez would consider joining Toronto if their offer was significantly better or, say, had a fourth year, since Hernandez also has a qualifying offer attached to him. The Jays would lose a pick. So actually big reports coming out here. So the Jays are number 2, which, we're number 2 in every race, it seems. The Corbin Burnes race, the Juan Soto race, Shohei Ohtani race, and of course, now the Teoscar Hernandez race. But it is very interesting because this is from a Dodgers guy, AAV is not the issue. Dodgers are smart with contracts. They likely won't budge, so we'll see how badly Teo wants to return. And then in the Jays front, they just offer him a fourth year. They can get the player back and maybe recoup some of the fan base's goodwill after they traded him just a couple years ago.
Yeah, and if only this was an Olympic event, the free agency sweepstakes, because the Blue Jays would rack up a ton of hardware, but unfortunately, they don't give you prizes in free agency for finishing second. So um, they're going to have to step up here. They're going to have to get something done, whether it's Teoscar Hernandez, whether it's Anthony Santander, and I don't know how true that may be. I'm sure the Dodgers are willing to go a little bit longer on the contract if it means retaining him. But at the end of the day, we got to remember that they did sign Michael Conforto as well. So maybe they are pivoting in a different direction. So take this report with a grain of salt, as Nick likes to say. But definitely, Nick, I'm interested in a reunion with Teoscar Hernandez. I think Anthony Santander may be more likely at this point of the offseason, just due to the fact that he'll probably make a little bit less money, maybe more years, maybe more term than Teoscar, but I think the AAV will be lower, which will suit the Blue Jays a little bit more. So it's interesting. It's definitely something that I would be monitoring if I'm the Blue Jays, and the fact that he's working out with Vladdy, we know how close they are in their relationship. It's definitely a bonus, but there's some uncertainty around Vladdy and his status going into this season, or at least beyond this season. So maybe Teoscar is thinking about that as well in the back of his mind. So uh, I think you should definitely offer him 3 years. I don't know if I would go fourth. That is kind of risky in my opinion for a 31-year-old who is not great defensively, who has been declining athletically in a sense, but I love him. He's such a fun, electric player, and some of my favorite moments as a Toronto Blue Jay fan were spent when Teoscar Hernandez was on this team, and just his smile lights up the entire Rogers Center. He is the embodiment of just having fun on the ball field and loving what you do. So I'd welcome a guy like that in my clubhouse because the one, I guess, thing that we've had with the Blue Jays in the past couple of years is the fact that they've been a lifeless, boring team. They have sucked the life out of this group. And I guess that's what happens when you exchange out some offensive firepower for defense first hustle guys. It's not as fun to watch. It's not as great of a brand of baseball, but and it hasn't really led to many more wins either. So it's not like we could say it's worked out for them. So I say you right your wrongs from the past. You bring this guy back, and you just go from there. I don't care what it takes. Give me Teoscar. He's such a fun player. Yeah, I don't care about the brain farts or the mistakes that he makes on the base pass. I love this guy. One of my favorite Blue Jays ever. This is a sentimental pickup for me. Get it done.
Yeah, and he's also coming off of a career year. Obviously, had some very
Yes.
good years with the Jays. Now, again, he was protected very well in Los Angeles. You're talking about their team is loaded. I don't need to name out all the players they have, Shohei Ohtani and things like that. And you said you don't know if you'd give him the fourth year. I'm going to go out and just say it. Give him the fourth year. I don't care at this point. You mentioned it could be a risky signing. I agree with you. It's not ideal to give him a fourth year, but the Jays at some point are going to have to make a risky signing or take some sort of leap. And it was actually Andrew Friedman, the GM or the president of baseball operations for the Dodgers, that says if you're conservative in every single free agent, you just stick to your numbers, you're going to finish second or third in every single free agent. And the Jays, as you can see here, are currently second in the Teoscar Hernandez signing. They got second or third, really third or fourth in the Juan Soto sweepstakes. They were second with Shohei Ohtani, but at some point you had to take a swing here, and you can't keep playing it safe. If he wants a fourth year, if that makes him a Toronto Blue Jay today, worst case you're out a fourth year of you're out $20 million, or it's a bad contract in 3 years. But I don't know if Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro are even going to be around in 4 years if they don't get a move like this done, along with a ton of other moves. So I'm of the kind of mindset now, just take the risk, take the swing. And he would, like you mentioned, great vibes. He would make the fans happy. He'd put some fans in the seats. Corbin Burns is still up in the air as of the time of recording. So it's like, I don't think Corbin Burns is super, super likely to be a Blue Jay at this very moment. Recoup some of your I mean, again, I don't even hate the trade that they made. I don't know if they do it again in hindsight, given how Eric Swanson panned out following the year after the trade. But if you can get Teoscar Hernandez back, give some offense. Who cares about defense at this point? Like you mentioned, he needs to hit the ball. We need hitters. We need people who can hit for power. And they got a hitter in Andres Jimenez, which will help in some ways, not really offensively. But if you give Teoscar Hernandez, who's not great defensively, I'm fine with it. Give them the fourth year. I'm sick of them playing it safe every
Yeah.
single offseason. Even though I do give them the credit, they're going for the big fish, but that's also not really a risky play either. Even though you are giving them 760 million.
Well, maybe the fact that they have been so safe and been able to stay within the budget is the reason why Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro have been employed for so long. They've made the team good enough. They've spent enough money to have sellout crowds for the majority of their tenure, or at least for the last few years, that is. But you saw last season when you do a lot of patchwork on your roster, when you miss out on the top free agents, and you have some notable holes that need to be filled and you don't fill them adequately. You fill them with guys like IKF, Kevin Kiermaier, Justin Turner. You get a losing ball club, and you get a ball club that misses the playoffs. And in tune, that turns away a lot of fans. And all I have to do, Nick, is read our comment section on a random Tuesday and see how many fans have turned away from this front office and from this team. So I agree with you. While we've been conditioned to not want to have the Blue Jays management take the risk. That is how lifeless they have become. They have conditioned us to think the way that they think. And we should be thinking as fans. We should be thinking as fanatics that want this team back in the playoffs and that want this team to succeed and have sellout crowds and have the roof come off the Rogers Center. That is what we ultimately want. We want to see this team succeed, and we want that to happen by any means necessary. So, you know what? You're right. Go the fourth year, go a damn fifth year if you have to for Teoscar Hernandez. Get something done, whether it's him, whether it's Santander. You need to get one of the big fish in this year's free agency class because, as currently constructed, your team is not good enough, and Andres Jimenez is not an upgrade offensively. I love the player. I think he's going to do well in Toronto, but he's got a ceiling to him offensively. If he can get back to his 2022 self, that's a 7 WAR player, but it still amounts to around an 800 OPS. So that's pretty much the most that you can expect out of Andres Jimenez. It makes you think that, yeah, maybe you need a couple more bats here to round out this offseason. So just get something done. Go out and spend, get the seats full again, get the fans back on your side because the fans are not happy. And I haven't been happy with the way that the last couple of seasons have gone, and I'm sure you haven't been either, Nick.
No, and like Bennington Smith and Shadavidi say, I mean, we see Teoscar Hernandez here. The alternative would be a guy like Jock Peterson, and I'm not super excited about that unless you're getting him alongside a guy like Anthony. If you get Santander or Teoscar, and then maybe Jock Peterson as well, if you really want to go offense and play that DH spot that they have open now in lieu of the Spencer Horwitz trade, go for it. And also, go get Corbin Burnes. I would like to see him as well. I'm going to maintain the exact same mindset. Give him the extra year. Give him the extra 2 years because he wants to be in San Francisco. He's from San Francisco. We're seeing crazy rumors, Peter, as you know. Billy Stephens saying he's a Blue Jay. We'll see if that comes true. I don't think it is. But at the end of the day, they need to make a move. They need to make it fast. So let us know down below what your thoughts are on this. Ultimately, things are going to come to the winter meetings now are officially over. They ended yesterday. So hopefully moves are going to be coming for the Toronto Blue Jays. And I think they will because, Peter, they've yet to make a signing that is a infielder or outfielder or a hitter of any kind. All they've done is Jimmy Garcia. So any final thoughts for a wrap up?
Yeah, well, the clock is ticking, man. A lot of free agents are starting to come off the board, and a lot of the good ones as well. So the trade market is wide open too. We know that the Astros are looking to trade away Kyle Tucker, which I don't think is a realistic possibility considering the state of the Blue Jays farm
Not for the
system.
Jays, no.
Not for the Toronto Blue Jays,
Cubs, though.
but if the Yankees get him, oh well, then you're screwed if you don't get somebody else. So wake up, smell the coffee, do something. It doesn't even have to be something big. Just do something just to get the fans back on your side because Ross Atkins, Mark Shapiro, they've done a great job at alienating each and every one of us who spent our hard-earned money on this team year in, year out. So wake up, man. Do something.
Yep. And I think moves are going to be coming later today or over the weekend. So make sure to hit the subscribe button to keep you up to date for all of that. Let us know down below what your thoughts are. Thank you guys for watching.